It's Marvel, 1993. We took a look at the top books from that year. Number 1 is a surprise, although it is rather timely, and I mean that with a lowercase t. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. So, our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Here are the prizes. Third prize, Peacemaker, miniseries number 4. That just dropped on HBO. Batman, number 475, first appearance of Renee Montoya. And Moon Knight, Mark Spector Moon Knight, number 25, first team up of Moon Knight and Ghost Rider. Second prize, Black Knight, limited series number 2 with Dane Whitman. Batman, number 457, the first appearance of Tim Drake in his new Robin costume. And Sensational She-Hulk number 39, this classic cover by John Byrne. First prize, Darkhold number 1. Darkhold may be coming in the Doctor Strange movie. Batman 442, first appearance of Tim Drake in the classic Robin costume. And copy of Spider-Man 2099 number 1, the first full appearance of Miguel O'Hara, and we know he's coming to the new Spider-Verse film. So make sure, in order to be eligible for the contest, you need to be a subscriber to the channel. You need to comment on a video. The videos that I will choose will be the videos that premiered in 2022 up until the time that we hit the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. When we do the contest, I will select the video that has the fewest comments and randomly select winners from that video. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And in this video, we're going to look at Marvel Comics from 1993. The crash of the market was just about to come, and Marvel had started a bunch of new titles. They were really experimenting with kind of humor titles, TV crossovers, movie crossovers. They still had the Epic line of books, which was launched in the 80s, meant for a little bit more mature audiences than their regular titles. But they did launch a line of books that lasted for a year, and that was the Razor line series of books that were based on works of Clive Barker, were introduced by Clive Barker. And that's separate from other Barker properties that Marvel optioned and adapted. So also 2099 had just begun, so a lot of those titles were introduced this year. Spider-Man had been introduced at the very end of 1992, Spider-Man 2099 that is. And the big storyline for Marvel, the big seller, was the Maximum Carnage storyline. So let's break right into it and start at number 10. And that is the conclusion of the Maximum Carnage storyline in Spider-Man Unlimited number 2. That's a book that goes for about $178 in a CGC 9.8, although you can probably get it for under $10 raw. The last sale was $185 in October and a high sale of $225 in June. Those numbers and that timeline is consistent with other Carnage-related books. We saw it with ASM 361 last year, kind of hit the peak in the spring when the market was exploding and the trailer just came out. And then the movie came out and the prices have gone down. Moving up to number 9 on our list, and that's Venom Lethal Protector number 1, which also has a CGC average sale, according to CoverPrice.com, of $178 and a 9.8, but closer to $30 raw. This book still moves, still sells, and there were 3 Venom miniseries that came out starting in 1993, and that was kind of what they were doing with Venom, was just a series of miniseries, and it seemed to work in terms of sales for them. The January sales of the Lethal Protector number 1 are in the $150 to $220 range. A 9.9 sold in October of 2018 for $1,105. So that cardstock foil cover, although it is very susceptible to spine ticks and you can't get rid of them, it is the cardstock is a little more solid, and so a 9.9 is possible. The black cover, which is a variant, the last sale of the black cover was in March of 2020 for $3,900, and a 10.0 of the black cover sold in February of 2010 for $3,000. Actually, I guess it's a 10.0 with a regular cover for $3,585. Well, that's back in February 2010. There's a gold cover that sold in November twice for $856 and $1,305, and a high of $1,725 in May. So those variants are worth more money. Let's look at number 8 on our list, and that is X-Men number 24, which has a CGC average sale of $183, about $15 raw. And this is the classic Andy Kubert cover with the Gambit Rogue Kiss. MCU speculation. Will both of these characters come to the MCU? Altogether likely. Will they be involved in a romance? Possibly. And that would be something people would be specking on. This is completely a cover buy. And January has had sales of $190, $191. And the high sale in a 9.8 was $285 back in June. Again, the height of the market. Number 7 on the list is Deadpool Volume 1, Number 1, his first limited series. CGC average sales in a 9.8 of $206, about $15 again raw. January, the book still moves, $225 and $220 in January, and that's pretty close to the high sale of $248 back in May. MCU spec, will Deadpool come to the MCU? Yes. Will this book, among other Deadpool books, increase in value? Most likely. Similar vein. Moving up to number 6 on the list. Another limited series featuring a popular character that we've already talked about on this list, and that is Gambit number 1. His limited series with an average sale in a CGC 9.8 of $207. Raw books, probably for under $10, maybe a little bit more for a high grade. $197 sale in January, $228 sale in December. There is a gold foil variant of this that sold for $700 in November, $900 in July, and $1,100 in April. So that price has been coming down. Again, will we see Gambit in the MCU? It's altogether likely. Number 5 on the list is Silver Surfer Annual number 6, which has a CGC average sale of $228. You could probably get it for under $10 raw, maybe a little bit more in high grade. It's the first appearance of Genis Vell, who is the son of Mar-Vell, the original Captain Marvel, who had died by this point in time. Walter Lawson was his Earth identity. The original Captain Marvel was gender swapped in the MCU with Annette Bening playing that role in the Captain Marvel movie, and she went by Wendy Lawson rather than Walter Lawson. But this is the son who eventually takes up the Captain Marvel mantle. There have been sales infrequently, but in the last year, $225 sale in September and a $230 sale in February. Interestingly, Venom Lethal Protector number 6 occupies the number 4 spot on the list. $261 average sale in a CGC 9.8, about $20 raw. And continues to sell rather frequently. $269 and $275 for sales in January of 2022. Number 3 on the list. And this is one of the really interesting things. It's MARC SPECTOR Moon Knight number 57. Average sale of $280 in the CGC 9.8. Over $100 for a raw copy. You have this crossover with Spider-Man, which is an homage to Todd McFarlane's cover from Amazing Spider-Man 300. The cover was drawn by Stephen Platt. This is a cover buy. And, of course, Moon Knight, I just watched the trailer. That's coming at the end of March, the Disney Plus series. Moon Knight stuff is heating up across the board. This particular book has, in December, there were sales of $240 and $400. In October, $200 and a high sale of $429 in May. Moving up to number 2 on the list. Avengers West Coast 94. Average CGC sales of $375, about $40 raw. It's the first time that we see James Rhodes as War Machine. Now, James Rhodes had been seen previously in an Iron Man book. I forget off the top, 119, 120, somewhere around there. The one where Iron Man's like jumping out of the helicopter. Hasn't sold that frequently lately, but when it does sell, it's pricey. October, it sold for $325, and in July for $425. Now, War Machine is coming back, headlining the Armor Wars Disney Plus series that I don't think we're going to see until 2023. So War Machine still has viability. This might be able to be a book you could get on the dip if you're interested in Avengers West Coast 94. Number 1 on the list. I said surprising, I said timely, and I didn't mean Marvel Golden Age antecedent timely. No capital T timely. This is timely, and it's 2 of the top 3 books are in the same vein. This is MARC SPECTOR Moon Knight number 55, which has an average 9.8 CGC sale of $391, over $100 for high-grade raw copies. It is the first cover in the Moon Knight, MARC SPECTOR Moon Knight series by Stephen Platt. Again, totally a cover buy. In November, the most recent sales, $314, $470, $460 in CGC 9.8. And again, the Moon Knight trailer just dropped. It's going to be a little more than 2 months until we see the Disney Plus series. Everything Moon Knight is heating up. The other thing, too, is Moon Knight, the MARC SPECTOR Moon Knight by this time had lower print runs. Not remarkably low. But probably under 20,000, and there is a lot of desire to, kind of complete the run maybe for collectors. I think I have the entire run of MARC SPECTOR Moon Knight. I'm going to have to check that because I did not know about these 2 issues. So let's look at the honorable mentions. There are a ton of them, and there's some fun ones. Conan the Barbarian, 275, the final issue of the series after this would be over 20 years as a Marvel property. There was a $287 sale in August. What the? Number 26, which is also the final issue, but it is also the first appearance of Spider-Ham, $20.99. That's had one 9.8 sale of $270. Razorline First Cut number 1. A 9.8 sale back in December 2020 for $186. Now, there was a sale in December 2021, an accepted offer on an eBay listing of $200, so might have been close to that. This has the first Ecto Kid, and it also previewed all, I think there were 4 Barkerverse line titles, titles that were connected to Clive Barker. Now, Clive Barker did give an interview in October of 2020 about a possible Ecto Kid TV series, but we haven't seen any follow-up on that. I guess there are some folks who are fans of this because Ecto Kid number 1 has had some high sales, $150 in August, $200 in June, and a high of $400 back in December 2020. Maybe somebody had jumped on that October 2020 news about a possible TV series. Next honorable mention, X-Men number 25, which is the issue in which Magneto removes the adamantium from Wolverine's body. That, in a 9.8, sold for $135 in December, a high of $200 in October. Now, there are variants of this. There's a black and white background variant that sold for over $500 in 2020, and a gold logo variant just sold in CGC 9.8 for $700 in December. Again, this was still being published. There were a lot of copies of these. But they're there. You might be able to find these in back issue bins, and especially those variants. Because a lot of people have them. Venom Lethal Protector. We talked about 1 and 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, all over $100 in a CGC 9.8. Number 4 is The First Scream. Number 5, the first appearances of Phage, Agony, Riot, and Lasher. And these books are still selling. Within the last month, there have been CGC sales over 9.8. Number 4 has sold a 9.9 in October of 2019 for $586. And those are books that people like to put together. It's his first miniseries. His second miniseries was Funeral Pyre, which has been close to a CGC, close to $100 in a CGC 9.8, high of $145 back in January of 2020. Ghost Rider Blaze Spirits of Vengeance number 9, which has the first appearance of Vengeance. The last two 9.8 sales, $175 in August and $180 in May. Amazing Spider-Man, always keys. $373, a Venom backup story, that about $115 in a 9.8. $375 is the first appearance of Anne Wang, Eddie Brock's ex-wife, who becomes She-Venom at one point. That's about $131 in a 9.8. $376, about $110. I believe that's a cover buy. $379 is the 7th part of Maximum Carnage. $380, the 11th part, both over $100 in a CGC 9.8. Web of Spider-Man, number 97, is the first appearance of Dr. Kevin Trench, who would later become Nightwatch. That sells for about $135 in a 9.8. Nightwatch's first appearance in costume is in Web of Spider-Man 99. That goes for about $115. And issue 100 anniversary issue goes for about $139 in a 9.8. That's the debut of the Spider Armor. Spectacular Spider-Man 200 is the death of Harry Osborn. That gets close to $100 in a 9.8. Silver Surfer number 81 has the first cameo appearance of Tyrant. That sold for $150 back in February, a $225 sale back in August of 2019. Doesn't sell that frequently. Strife's Strike File, which is the villain behind the Executioner Song storyline. That's had one 9.8 sale in February of 2019 for $145. I do like to point out these solo sales of over $100. Mark Spector Moon Knight number 56, $140. Another Stephen Platt cover. What If number 49. Kind of hit its peak a while ago. There haven't been any 9.8 sales, but the 9.6 average is about $60. That is What If Silver Surfer Possessed the Infinity Gauntlet. Pinhead number 1, based on the Clive Barker character, under the Epic imprint. $130 sale in January, $99 back in March. $20.99 we talked about. Doom $20.99, about $110. $110, $130 sales back in December. $20.99 Unlimited, which had the first Hulk $20.99, has had recent sales close to $100, a high of $155 back in June. And X-Men $20.99 has had January sales of $100, $105. The high sale of $120 in March. The Gold Foil edition sold for $180 in June. And also $180 in October 2020. Fantastic Four Unlimited number 1 is the first appearance of Chanda, the grandfather of T'Challa and Shuri. That's about $100 in a 9.8. There have actually been 2 sales, $40 in July of 2020 and $101 just recently. Could that character be seen in flashback in some regard in a Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever? It's possible. I don't know if I'd be throwing a lot of money at that. VENOM, issue 84, the final issue. There have been 2. It goes for about $100 down in 9.8. 2 $200 sales, both back in 2019. Transformers Generation 2, number 1. We'd spoken in the last couple of videos about how Transformers, the print run kept getting lower and lower until it was canceled. Marvel tried to reboot it. It has sold in the last month for $100, and the previous sale was $73 in a CGC 9.8 back in December of 2020. Wolverine Global Jeopardy was a special issue and did sell for $100 in October and $80 in March in conjunction with the WWF Not the one that Marvel had an agreement with a couple of years earlier. This is not the wrestling group, but this is the World Wildlife Fund. It also included Namor, Khazar, and Shayna. That's how you pronounce it? Not Sheena, but Shayna. Shana? Shayna? I'm not sure. Biker Mice from Mars, #1. There was a $50 sale in December, a $200 sale of a CGC 9.8 back in July. This was based on an animated syndicated series that ran for 3 seasons from 93 to 96. There was a revival in 2006. I actually found a copy of Biker Mice from Mars #1 in a collection I had bought. Wasn't 9.8 by any means. Thought it was a $1 book. Didn't think anything of it. Looked it up. Go, huh. And I did sell it to somebody in Germany. Bought it. So I did have to, you know, pay the PayPal percentage on the shipping. But you know, somebody paid some money for it. I forget exactly how much. And then the last one we'll go with, kind of ending our year. Hasn't been CGC'd. It's a magazine size. This is something that there are collectors that go for it. It's Marvel Swimsuit Special #2. Rogue on the cover. There are plenty of collectors who like good girl art. So that kind of wraps up our Marvel 1993 video. Let me know what you think. What do you have? What do you think about MARC, SPECTOR, Moon Knight, random books being worth hundreds of dollars? Do you have those books? Do you want those books? What do you think about the trailer? What do you think about those, you know, these kind of secondary Moon Knight keys? I hadn't really known anything about these until I was investigating and researching this list. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. You saw what's available in the giveaway. That's going to be coming up very soon. We might already have hit 1,000 by the time this video drops. So fingers crossed. If you enjoyed this video, well, here's the DC version of what was happening in 1993. And down here is Marvel 1992. Take a look at that one. So this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.